My team had come up with a lofty goal of trying to look at the way we talk about victims, because the AARP has a Fraud Watch Network helpline. And last year was like 100,000 calls. A victim or the victim's family member will use blaming, talking about themselves and how stupid they are, that they can't believe they fell for it, or I can't believe my mom, something's wrong with her. And we wanted to sort of validate, is that really what's happening around the country, and why is it, and what has it resulted in? And the work was seminal. And we learned that at every level of our society, we blame fraud victims with the language that we use. And because it sort of allowed us all to sort of sit back and go, well, that would never happen to me. It allowed us to sort of sit back and believe, since it would never happen to us, we don't have to worry about it. What we learned is that's not the case at all. Everybody is a potential fraud victim. The words that we use, turns out we don't really mean to blame with them. Well, I mean, some of the things that we've heard is, like, how could you fall for that? How much money did you give them? Instead of, you experienced a crime. Oh my God, I'm so sorry this happened to you. How much money did they steal from you? Shift to the criminal and to the perpetrator and to the crime, not to something the victim didn't know or didn't do. So the bigger element of all this, it has led us to really start thinking about that, and like, what has this resulted in, aside from shame, blame, underreporting, families falling apart? It's the deprioritization of fraud as a crime. If we can change that language, it begins to change the way we as a society respond to fraud.
So I think changing words can change outcomes, and we've seen this before. We've been here in society and made strides when it comes to shifting the narrative on things like rape, on suicide, on mental illness, just a few examples. That if we really see a change in how we're talking about this publicly, then it can really have a real impact. And we believe it's time to change how we're talking about financial fraud and scam victims, as Kathy, drove home the point, it's not the victim's fault, and they deserve to maintain their dignity and they deserve justice. And we can help on both of those fronts by choosing our words with care.
On it, we have a website right now. It's aarp.org/words matter. One of the targets is family caregivers, who are probably the closest to potential victims or prior victims, because of the attacks we have on older adults in this vector, to try to help them understand, even before anything happens, normalize talking about fraud and how much of it is out there, and how it is not some guy in his mom's basement making phone calls and you shouldn't feel embarrassed about it. This is transnational criminal organized crime, right? And they have money and they have time and they have playbooks, and it's us against them. If we talk about it more, we're far more likely to see the scam coming at us and not engage to begin with. So having the sort of normalizing of the conversation. But then if mom or dad falls victim to a scam, it's not, I can't believe you did this, what's wrong with you? It's, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I've heard about this too. Tell me what happened. What can we do? I'm going to help you. And we're going to call law enforcement. We're going to call the banks, and we're going to try to, see what we can do about this. We all, in so many arenas in our lives, have shortcuts to language. And if we don't stop every now and again and think about what that sort of rote response is, then, we can harm other people unintentionally. And it's not semantics. It's not, it's better to say this than that because it's just nicer. This is helping solve a societal wrong. The perfect words that you already said and that we have in our website address is words matter.